Hello, everyone. My name is Arnold and I'm the director of Teaching English in China and Impact Teaching. Today, I'm going to tell you a little bit about sort of teaching in China at this moment in time, October 2021, and sort of how it all works. If you're new to this channel and you think you maybe recognize me from another channel, that makes sense because as you see, my company is called Teach English in China, and that's been running since 2005. But since early 2020, we're also organizing placements in different countries in China, and that's done through Impact Teaching. But basically, we're the same company. And today's video is about China, and it's very close to my heart because I used to be an English teacher in China in 2002, and I loved it. I really enjoyed my time there. In my personal case, it was a case of being interested in sociology and politics and going to China, not necessarily to become a teacher longer term, but just to experience it. And it was really, really fantastic. And I loved it. So in 2005, I set up Teach English in China. Since then, we've placed well over, 1,000 people in China. But like I said, late 2019, actually, I started thinking, look, we should maybe diversify to other countries, started a partnership in Vietnam and Cambodia, and since proved quite useful and quite necessary, actually, in that obviously the current period is very challenging when it comes to China. But as I'll say today, like it's not impossible. And I just want to do an update. There's basically 3 slides in a very short PowerPoint just to update you. So the good news is basically that in very recent times, we've had some real progress in that. Christian, you can see in the slide here, he has recently arrived in China, a good sort of 2.5, 3 weeks ago. He arrived, he was in Guangzhou first in quarantine, currently in Wuhan in another set of quarantine, sort of another 2 weeks of quarantine, and he'll be teaching in Wuhan. So a bit on the background at the moment with China is that basically, in the pandemic, it's a lot more complicated to get a visa to teach out in China. So in a normal time, basically, let's say 2018-19, the situation would have been, you need to be of nationality-wise of one of 7 countries that are considered sort of native English speaking, which is basically the UK, the US, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Ireland, and South Africa. I think I got them all. So those 7 countries, in terms of nationality, a degree, a clean criminal background check, and 120-hour online TOEFL certificate. If you match those criteria, you would basically definitely get a Z visa. It would back then, even it was a relatively elaborate process that would take 3-4 months and quite a lot of paperwork, but it was a formality that you'd get it, and the timeline was set in stone. What's really changed during the pandemic is that on the Chinese side, in addition to those documents and those facts basically about you as a candidate, schools also need to meet a key criteria, and that's basically that they need to obtain a local PU letter from the government. And this is where it gets difficult because a lot of schools, unfortunately, are not able to do that. Like we've got a really big network of schools, and really, unfortunately, a relatively small number of them even have been able to do it. In general, if I'd have to estimate it, I'd say probably 2 to 5% of schools in China that used to hire foreign teachers are able to do so now. So that presents a number of issues that I'll discuss a little bit more in the next slide. The good news, though, for now is that, like in terms of our network, we have a variety of schools that have met that threshold. So today we've got really good news of one of our partners in Shanghai that they have obtained a PU letter for a candidate. And previously, in recent weeks, we had someone do that a partner of ours do that in Shenzhen. And before that, it was Wuhan for Christian. So so that means that I think one of the key things that we can bring to the table if you're interested in going to China is that by applying with us, you basically maximize your chances because these are the 3 that have so far been successful. At this time, there's a number of other partners of ours pushing hard for PU letters, and I think more of them will get it. So over time, we will be in a good position to help you. I think what that means, I think, frankly, it's pragmatism on our side and also on the side of the schools. Christian was assigned to another school before, didn't sort of stalled out a little bit in terms of them applying for a PU letter. So we changed it around to another school that had a better outlook of PU letters because things change. there's a lot of factors that go into schools obtaining PU letters. To be honest, it's a little bit of an untransparent process to me, like even working with this on a day-to-day basis. But some of the things that come into it relate to kind of the standing the school has locally in terms of their record of recruiting teachers. Have they done everything by the book? How much tax have they paid? How big are they? Sort of financial aspects definitely come into it, seemingly. So there's a number of things that go into that. But what we do by constantly talking to all our partners is give you a chance to maximize your chances and get a PU letter. Okay, so one of the things that's very important to me is transparency. I think the key values of the companies or Teach English in China and Impact Teaching are basically three. One, that everything is always done legally and that we give you legally sound advice in terms of moving abroad. The second is that we really value community. And that's been one of the real bright spots during the pandemic that, you know, I've really enjoyed kind of keeping in touch with the community of teachers who were waiting to go to China. And I think it's been really good to see that, for example, Christian is now kind of really stepping up in terms of passing on all his knowledge in terms of getting a green code for China, what it's like in quarantine, sharing that with the people that are coming sort of next in terms of our process. And we'll be sharing that on our websites as well soon. But yeah, so in terms of the community aspect, the final one is transparency and just sort of giving you a realistic overview of the pros and cons of different locations, different options. And when it comes to China, I would say certainly, like I mentioned, it is possible. It's also really challenging on a number of levels. The ways in which it's challenging, there's basically three at the moment. These might evolve over time, but as of sort of October 2021, these are the key ones. So basically, as I mentioned, sort of the fact that fewer and fewer schools have the right to invite a foreign teacher means that they might have waiting lists. They might sort of, you know, have their own considerations at times, so that can cause delays. I think China basically is pursuing a completely zero COVID policy at the moment, and that's kind of overhanging, I guess, everything that we're discussing here, in the sense that they're just really cagey about letting foreign people in at the moment. And that means that, for example, if in the city you're applying in, there's a small outbreak of a few COVID cases, it could be that the process is put on hold for, you know, a few weeks or potentially even longer than that. So all those things combined mean that, you know, when you go for this, and if you go for this, unfortunately, the timeline of sort of the normal timeline of 3 to 4 months isn't realistic. You know, who knows? It could be that you're really lucky that everything breaks your way, and it does happen in that timeline. But more likely, you will be looking at 6 to 9 months. And unfortunately, in the worst case, it could be even longer than that. Second point is a difficult one, and I find quite a difficult and an awkward one to discuss with candidates, but I wanted to mention it. In recent weeks, there have been quite a few schools, in fact, pretty much every school that has PU letters that we're working with has basically started asking candidates if they've had COVID in the past. I think this is based on the belief in China that COVID is to some extent a latent kind of condition, that if you've got it at any point, like, it might reappear. And they're going to ask you about it. It's my personal advice to just be honest. If you've had it, tell them. And if that is a deal breaker, take that for what it is for now. I think it's hard to say that sort of how this will play out, because, you know, the question obviously is, how is it really verified, and sort of how does that play out? But it's too new for me for me to give you very definite answers on it at the moment. In terms of flight costs as well, that's something that is playing into the overall situation, that travel to China, even for Chinese citizens, is quite difficult. Obviously, for people needing a visa, even more so. But it means that the overall volume of flights at the moment is far from the normal level. And that means, in terms of supply and demand, that the flight prices have gone up a lot. At the moment, single flights are in the region of £3,000. We have heard reports and some encouraging news that, you know, more and more countries are getting more access to direct flights to China. That, you know, from the UK, that's a little bit questionable at this very moment in time if that's going ahead or not. But that might, in the near future, in the coming weeks, even perhaps drive the prices down. So that's definitely something to watch. In terms of all of this, I would say, if you're interested, as you can hear, a lot of this is sort of developing all the time, and is probably different again. Some of the degrees to what these issues sort of play out is different in a month's time. So what we do now is sort of regular impact teaching, Teach English in China Zoom call. The next one is on the 9th of November. So if you're interested, it would be great if you join us for that. There will be a link in the description. Yeah, and we'll basically be speaking about this again and with all the fully up-to-date information at the time. So what I would say, basically, if this is of interest, if you want to apply, if you want to go to China, if you've got your heart set on China, I would say absolutely, go for it. Don't be discouraged, especially, if you're looking at doing this, perhaps, let's say, if you're in university now, you're looking to do it in August next year. Very much so, like, just apply, get started, and we'll update you. Because we have impact teaching now, we've got other partnerships. We've got really exciting partnerships in Thailand, in Vietnam, in Poland as well. So there's alternatives. And if it doesn't work out for China and you want to transfer your placement to those locations, you can do that. In terms of immediate interest, I would say Thailand is a really good opportunity, because it's been a little bit amusing almost, even with some of our China candidates who have transferred to the Thailand program, to see how different it is. Like, people have received visas in a matter of days at times, and there's some vacancies still for November intake. And because it's such a quick process, if you're sort of a native speaker, again, if you've got a degree, that will be done, that's even still doable to make it for November 2021. And alternatively, be looking at sort of April 2022. So yeah, check out the information in the description. Get in touch to apply. Give me a phone call as well. But yeah, if you're interested in the Zoom event, the next one is the 9th of November, 8 p.m. UK time. I'll be joined with that for that by Laura Alexander, who taught in China as well as in Poland through our company. So that's always really interesting, just to hear her direct input and her experiences. So join us for that, and look forward to hearing from you. Cheers.